Hello, everyone. It's Carla Shields here, Friday, the 13th of March. And I wanted to come and chat for a few minutes with you about why being different can help more people. This comes about as a result of the current state of affairs with the coronavirus, but more than that, I mean, I'll tell you, I check the World Health Organization, I check the CDC, and I check John Hopkins um, Medical University. Those are my three main sources. I don't get too caught up in a lot of the rhetoric. I try not to because so many people are misinformed. I'm no expert. I'm no medical expert. None of that. And I don't want to fall into those traps either. So, um, that being said, the reason I'm here is I did happen upon, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a number of everybody, a lot, not everybody, but a lot of companies are publishing, why they might not be visiting, why they might be limiting their meetings, and how they're working around things just to be. I consider that being considerate of humankind. To me, this is something that everyone should do. If you have a business with one employee, if you have a business with 20 employees, if you have a conglomerate with 50,000 employees, if you work at home, I think it's considerate to let your customers know how you might be mailing things to them instead of delivering, or dropping things off is to avoid the contact, just in case. Now, look, I'm not saying that everybody's got the coronavirus, or everybody's got the influenza, or everybody's got whatever. What I'm saying is, I happened upon, while I had a few minutes to read a couple emails, doesn't happen very often, tonight. One was from a company I used to be associated with, and I want to give a huge kudos to LimeLife by Alcone. One thing I always did respect about them is the way they approached things. And an email that came across my thread today had some very differently worded um, response to let people know how they were handling things. To me, it just came across very caring. I don't think it could be put on. It got down to the nuts and bolts of the issues that they are even looking at giving their staff in the warehouse and their customer care people, if there is a concern and they are ill due to this, that there is a workaround for time off, so they don't need to be overly concerned about that. And that really hit me because I know in my job that's an issue. It's an issue. We get so many days, you use them up, they're gone. And if you read the newspaper at all, if you look at anything online, you can't help but see things like and notice that it's the people that have less, or that really rely on their weekly paycheck or their $10 an hour or whatever, to help their family get by and themselves survive. It's survival. That these are the people that are probably going to come to work anyway. And these are the people that probably can't afford the deductible on their health insurance and aren't going to go get tested. And so the numbers that we're seeing out there, I don't believe they're real. I believe they're real, but I don't believe they're properly representative of everything. But that being said, there was that beautiful article. It was just how we're going to be handling things, but it was very written with care. It was written with care and consideration for those who would be reading it, for those who it represented. And it also alluded to the fact that the owners had been dealing with, and this really hit me, the owners had been dealing with their business affiliates overseas in Europe, and have been for a while now on a daily basis. So they have a different perspective. And that rang true with me because I have a different perspective than the people I work with. I have a different perspective than a lot of people on this because I have family overseas, and I've been following this day, every day for a month now, maybe longer, I guess now, and watching how things developed and how they came about, and also watching how they deal with things differently. Which brings me to the second little email I read. It was actually an article. It was a link to an article, and I don't usually have time to read all my emails, but it had to do with a woman who's um, from Italy but lives in the United States. So I didn't get whether or not she has legal status in both countries. I didn't get to that. But she was talking about her family situation in Italy, and the title had something to do with why I'd rather be in Italy than the United States. And wow, um, it was a very strong, powerful, emotional, yet sensible article. I really loved it. Hi, Lavola. So I really loved it because the bottom result to me, and I guess everything's perspective. But to me, what I took out of that was that she felt she would rather be in Italy despite the situation there with the illness as it's climbing here, because she sees what's happening here. It's already happened there, and it is happening here. And if you're in denial of that, you need to talk to some people that are from overseas, that have been watching this, that have been through it already, that are living with ahead of us what's going on. You need to have perspective. And she has that perspective, and things are getting very difficult for her family there. And she's trying to find a way to get back there. And the reason she wants to get back there overall, I'm going to say caring and concern for one another, for humanity. She is feeling. She is feeling. It seemed to say that there's just not as much caring being shown here. It's a cultural difference. Oh, absolutely, a cultural difference. So my point is, this got me thinking because I think, hence my gap hat, I think that it's dangerous to generalize and say, this is the way all Americans are, this is the way all Italians are, this is the way all Chinese people are, this is the way all white blonde people are over 60. I think that's dangerous. I don't think that's correct. And I think you're hurting someone if you do that. So I try really hard not to go there. But I'm different. I'm different in a lot of ways than most people around me, for a lot of reasons. One is my spirituality. That's a huge 70% easy part of me, probably more. It's more than most people. It's not about going to church from 10 to 11 on Sundays and then laughing at people at your desk. To me, it's a lot more than that because of the way I react with the other side and hear the other side, and all of that goes with my life. It's just part of me. It's always been there. It always will be. So for me, caring and concern is more important than the numbers. So when I look at the numbers on the World Health Organization and I look at the numbers of these things, I don't look at them twice a day. I check it out once a day, maybe. But I'm concerned about the people. I'm concerned about the elderly person that now, with this coronavirus, there's a mortality rate of 2.5 to 3.4%. In influenza, it's a point 0.8 to point oh eight to point 1. So in other words, 0.1% as compared to 2 to 3% mortality rate. And that may not sound like much to you. Maybe you're healthy. Maybe you've got your immune system all going and everything's checking out. And I hope so. I hope for everybody that's the case. But I'm very concerned about the people that can't afford to go to the doctor. I'm very concerned about the people that are right now sick and can't get tested to find out what's going on and can't stop working because they need that paycheck to keep their family going. I'm really concerned about that. I'm very different that way. And if that makes me odd, I'll stay that way. If that makes me be the oddball and the one man out, I'll take it any day of the week, because in the end, to me, people come first, money comes second. If you love on one another and you look out for one another, the rest is going to work out. If you put the money first, you've got it backwards. That's just my 2 cents, and that's why I believe that people that are different help more people, because it's been my experience that with my limited resources and my husband's limited resources, together we've been helping people a little here, a little there, where we can, with what we have. We don't keep it all for ourselves. We help those we can. And, we're not the Rockefellers, but I can't speak for anybody else, so I have to use us. We try to help. One of the groups I'm in for marketing, Rank Makers, has a beautiful, beautiful thing where every Wednesday is called Wealth Wednesday. And on Wealth Wednesday, many members of Rank Makers will do a kind act for another. It could be leaving a dollar bill in a diaper container in the store. It could be paying for the coffee for the person behind them, leaving an extra large tip, or even an extra dollar tip. Just gratitude, showing gratitude and paying it forward. And I have seen so many beautiful, really wonderful examples of kindness through this, that make this Rank Makers Association so important to me. For that reason alone, the marketing aspect, the reason to come live and to learn how to market, which is something I find fascinating, and hopefully I'm learning a little more every day, is great. But the thing that gets me the most is this act of, it's not mandatory, it's voluntary, just a kindness, the act of kindness, the act of gratitude, the act of caring for one another. And it really does put in your mindset that other people matter. And you start to notice more if a waitress or a waiter server is having a really rough time. You start to notice a little bit more what might be on the other side from your glasses, from your lenses, from your perspective. So I urge you to do a kind act for someone in the middle of all this coronavirus. And maybe that kind act is just not saying that you think that this is just a flu, because I'll tell you that can hurt people, because it isn't just a flu, okay? Check out the facts, the World Health Organization, check out the CDC. It is different. I'm not going to go into all that, but please be different. For those of you that are different, keep going. We need you. We need the love. We need the kindness. We need the consideration. It does take a village. It really does take a village. And if we all put our heart into it and our caring and our concern into it, maybe we'll come out of this even stronger. So long, everybody. That's my life for today. I love you. I wish you well. Peace. Bye. And now, there we go.